Hi, it's Nicole, and I'm diving back into creating with collections. As a reminder, this is my 5th time doing this challenge, and Lisa Brooks over at Life and Layouts is playing along as well. So the link to her video for today will be in the description box below. Now, I did get a little bit of a jump start on this layout. I actually stitched the right-hand page at a basketball game because I was pressed for time. What's new? I will link the sketch in the description box as well. I believe it's from a paid bundle. Top of my head, I want to say it's 2-page sketches with triangles, but I want to double check. So typically for me, especially with creating with collections, I know myself. I know with no rules to follow, I'm gonna pick B-sides. So in order to not do that every single time, I go through the scraps first and really try to figure out if something I've already cut into is going to work for whatever I'm currently working with. I also will try to pull out the 6x6 pad before cutting into the 12x12 sheets as well. That is just kind of a parameter that works for my brain and my process. So I don't believe I've done any modifications as far as like photo sizes or placement or anything like that. I think I'm pretty true to the sketch on this one. I will say when I am looking for sketches specific to a challenge like this, where I know I've got a lot of product, I know what I've used so far, I know what I am continually struggling to use, I go on a like hunt specific type of thing. So I know I have a lot of large die cuts, a lot of scene building elements that are all the same size. So when I was looking for sketches, I'm starting with how many photos do I think I'm going to use, and is that going to be a single or a double? If it's going to be a double, I tend to go to some of the same sketch bundles. In this instance, I did kind of force myself to look into some other ones, and I found this one. Now, I'm pretty sure I was probably on call with Lisa during this layout because I was questioning some photo sizes. I am going to reprint that one that goes down in the bottom left. I wanted to have more paper showing. I did pull those 3x4 cards that were scraps from previous layouts, and they are the wrong orientation for this page. They're horizontals. I put them in a vertical orientation because I am using them for that background pattern. The center portion of it is going to be filled. The left one I'm filling with a photo. The right one is going to house my journaling. So instead of cutting into B-side papers to fill that role, I'm going to use these cut apart cards because my personal style, I have a hard time using them. So instead of trying to bend myself too far into making myself use those, if an occasion comes into play where I can use it to back something, I will. Now, this over here on the right hand page is what caught my eye when I was scrolling through sketches. This is a diagonal opportunity for a scene. So when I saw that, I was thinking, yes, this is going to allow me to use up some of these larger elements that I've been avoiding at this point. I don't think that they necessarily have to be a themed scene in this case. This is more of that chaotic present opening, dinner's happening, people are socializing, there's a lot of stuff going on. So my brain says that my scene over here can also have a lot of stuff going on, just lots of Christmas stuff. So I did a flip through, pulled out a lot of the large pieces first, then I start scaling down in size. As far as color, I am only really paying attention to not putting the red present next to the red sled, if that makes sense. Kind of just spreading things out a little bit. If I have something like the presents being different colors, I will move them around to where they have a better chance of contrasting and standing out. with all of the other things. These tags I hadn't really found a use for up until now, so that's when I start thinking about putting them to the back of a scene, using them to layer things. It gives you that pop of color and pattern and fills in a lot of that white space that's going to be in between these larger die cuts. So kind of look at stuff like that to fill in your scenes. I did consider some of those large like frame wordy things that are on the sticker sheet, but I either forgot or I might have decided not to because there was a lot of words going on them. And in a scene like this where I am trying to use up a lot of stuff and almost bury some elements, I don't like to cover up like wordy bits. Sometimes I want to read all of the words. You know what? I am fully aware that I'm weird. So we're just going to go with it. I just try my best to explain to you guys my weirdness and my thought process. I get a lot of questions on scenes. Some of you guys have said I am the queen of scene building. I don't get it. I don't see it. I just keep piling stuff on. Word of advice is push stuff to the back, have everything touching, start large, scale down as you go, kind of forward in depth or forward in your layers, and don't be afraid to peel things up and shove a Christmas tree behind something. It will all work out in the end. If you feel like your scene is not full enough, it probably isn't. You probably just need to add some more stuff. And it can be something as simple as cutting some tags from pattern paper, tucking labels behind things. So many things. You can even take like circle punches and punch out some pattern paper and just kind of layer it behind, and you're just bringing in more interest, more color, and really filling it out. Now, because this is a like diagonal scene, these little corners were starting to bug me. I'm ignoring them for right now, but I'm also at the same point trying to think of what I can put there that's not going to cut like a word in half. I don't want to put little pieces because those are my favorites, and I'm somewhat hoarding them. I don't want to use them all up right now. So I decide to go to some of these big like greenery pieces that, again, I've been avoiding. So if I recognize that I'm avoiding something during creating with collections, that is an indicator to me that I need to just find a way to get it on a page. So I am going to fill in those corners with some greenery, which it should be popping up soon. I'm going to end up cutting it to the point where I probably can't use the offcut unless I find another way to tuck it into the back of a scene. So for now, I did put it back on the sheets with the die cuts, but sometimes you just got to do some weird stuff to fill in some space on a scene. I think at this point I was considering some of those phrases because, again, they're not, a lot of them are not getting used up. Apparently that greenery is going to take a minute to come in. I think it took me a while to land on the solution to fill in those holes. My photos over here, I am going to go ahead and add a white mat to this one. I think I didn't print it with a mat because the sketch didn't have a mat, and sometimes I can get too stuck on following a sketch to a T when I know my personal style is going to want that white mat, so it just makes more work for me later on. I am down to the point where I've used a lot of these title pieces, and now I only have like partial titles left. Like I can't make a full title out of what's left. And Lisa came up with tile letters that perfectly coordinate with Doodlebug colors. She's still in the process of working with them. When it gets to that point in this video, I basically just did a test run with them, and I'll talk about that when that clip gets here. A lot of times with decision making, I move on to something else. So I've got those gaps on the sides of my scene that I'm thinking about how I'm going to fill that. I have a partial title that I'm thinking about how I'm going to fill that in. I don't have those answers yet. So I move over to the left side of my page and start filling in over here. Instead of forcing myself to make those decisions and settle on something that I'm probably not going to like, I like to just let it go. I'm going to marinate on it for a while. I'm going to make decisions over here. And maybe while I'm looking at stuff, somewhere a thought will pop up in the back of my mind of how to solve what's going on the right. So I don't always work linear and do like all of the left page and then all of the right page. I hop around based on what decisions I'm making. And then a lot of these openings, I'm just filling in with what makes sense to me. I'm not really looking at the sketch anymore. I'm just trying to use up more of those larger die cuts that I haven't used. So I used like the sled, and then I'm going to bring in some of those little tiny sparkles. I am using up 3 of those phrase banners, another speech bubble, trying to remember to come in with these enamel sparkles. I think I'm just learning that I don't love enamel. They look good in a marketing photo. I don't love them when I work with them. But I'm gonna try. Okay, here we go. Here's my greenery like patch. I basically put foam tape over the opening, put this guy down, cut off the overhang, and then brought it over to this other side, and I'm going to do the same thing, and it's visually just filling in that space, and then I have that weird center scrap. It's back on the die cut sheet. If it doesn't get used up, it's fine. I'm okay with that. I decided to come back to the scene and fill in with some of the phrases from the sticker sheet and just try to find some more small things to tuck inside. Kind of checking the left to see if there's anywhere I can fill in some stuff. I did consider using this deer journaling card, and I still have to figure out my title. So for now, I'm going to hand cut around the edge of this because I have that pink tone-on-tone paper from the cut-apart card that I would rather have showing. And I was considering running this through my printer. You can see I had tried to get the words to not run into the deer. Ultimately, I did not trust my printing skills, and so I was like, you know what, we're not going to do this. I'm pretty good at doing this, but I was just not confident in this lining up. I was worried that as I got closer to the deer, the words were going to run over it and I was not going to like it. So I went ahead and just printed it on white cardstock, and I'm just going to cut my journal strips. When you see me move the trimmer out of the frame, this is something I do all the time. If I'm not using my journal strip die, I will hold that trimmer up to the light above me, and I can see exactly where the edge of my blade is going to hit, and that's how I can line up my strips on that trimmer. So just trim those out, put them on foam adhesive, and put them on that journal card. I got 2 of the little quote stickers used up. And then I'm going to move over to my title, which I'm basically just going to put enjoying the, and then it says holidays, and then I think together. Now, Lisa designed these, and she's amazing. She made a font that is more of a whimsical style that she uses in her journaling. And then I was like, hey, I use Century Gothic a lot in mine. I like a nice, bold, crisp, clean font sometimes. So she made a Nicole version. These perfectly coordinate with the Doodlebug colors. She's still kind of in a testing phase. If you're a member of her Facebook group, I'll try to put a link in the description below. It's always in the links, or it's always in the description of her videos. She will have more information on this. I'm sure she's going to have a tutorial video and all of that. These are designed to only print the letters that you need. She does the print and cut feature on Silhouette. I was feeling a little lazy. I was working at night and I wanted to see if I could just cut them quickly. So I just printed them, cut them with a trimmer, and they were super easy. Like, I don't know that I would do the print and cut unless I was doing a ton of them, because this I liked this. I like that I can cut off a little bit more on the edges if I need to, if I want them to be like a little thinner. I like to pop these up with foam tape, and these were just so easy. I believe as of right now, she's a little hung up on trying to get it formatted for Cricut. There's a lot more involved in getting something like that to work, print and cut feature on a Cricut. So I would say if you're eyeing these and you're waiting for them to hit her Etsy shop, just know you can just print them and cut them with a trimmer or even scissors, and they're going to come out fine. You can even change the size. You can just grab the shape and stretch them. So I love the fact that now that these are an option, it's going to stretch those phrases and the title pieces that I have left even more. So with that, I've got some detail photos. Again, check the description box for a link to Lisa's video, all the stuff that I've discussed so far in my ramblings, and I'll catch you guys later. Leave me any comments down below, hit that thumbs up button. If you have yet to subscribe to my channel, I would love for you to join me in my chaotic little crafty life, and I'll catch you guys. Bye.